Hey. Então, Hey, Grant.
Hey Dennis.
How's it going?
Oh, it's going. How are you?
So far, so good.
Oh, it's crazy. It's the last day.
Yeah, well, another one's starting up pretty soon.
Yeah. When does it start up?
October 11th.
October 11th. Sweet. I'm gonna put that in my calendar real quick.
So I'm going to send you a connection with a guy from the North NC East Alliance, Trey Goodson, and he's going to show us how to set up that landing page and that autoresponder that they use for their webinars. I think it's pretty cool.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds great. So what does it do? Is it just like for when we have meetings and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
And it automates a lot of the follow-up.
Sure.
And plus, I think it looks professional. This Shop Rural Day is going to bring a lot of new blood into our world. So I want to try to, handle that as well as we can. And the less work, the better.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I didn't make you sorry, Grant. Let me co-host.
Oh, cool.
Always forget.
No problem.
There you go.
Thank you.
Hi, Alina. How are you?
How are you?
So far, so good.
I'm glad.
You doing all right?
I'm doing well. And just lots and lots and lots and lots of work.
Well, that's good, right?
Yes, it's excellent. And also, I'm excited. I'm getting finally my professional website ready for shopping for the season.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you. How was your weekend?
It was good. It's
Oh, good.
it goes too fast, but that's true for everybody, I guess.
I know. I know.
Now, I want to be sure you sign up for the Shop Rural Day for November 11th.
Oh, I don't know if I did. I don't think so.
Yeah, go to shopruralday.org and you can fill out the thing. There's no cost. And we're going to get a lot of traffic. So you'll be able to sell a lot of jewelry.
How much? What is? Can you spell that for me again?
Shop.
Shop.
Yeah, shopruralday.org.
Shop.
SHOPRURALORG. I'm sorry. Shopruralday.org.
Okay. Ruralday.org. Okay.
Yep.
And I had to go there and then.
Just fill out the application to sell on that day. And I'm going to be having all kinds of explanations and stuff as we go along and how that'll work. But we're going to get a lot of people promoting us, so we want to get on there and make a ton of sales.
Okay, that's great. And when is gonna be the date?
11/11, November 11th,
Okay.
and it's either going to be 12 hours or 24 hours. So you'll be able to go live as much as you want during that time period. You can go for 1 hour or the whole time if you want. And I'm hopeful actually we'll continue it in through the holidays. If we get a lot of traffic, we'll try to keep it going.
Oh, that's great. Amazing.
Yeah, we're getting a
Thank you.
lot of big sponsors. So I think they're all gonna, tell their constituents about it. So we should see really high traffic. That's my hope anyway.
Oh, great. Thank you so very much.
Yeah. Got to try new stuff, right?
You are right about that.
Good. Well, hopefully it'll work. So, okay. All right. Well, I guess people will be coming in. Grant, I'll ask you to keep track. Hey, Doug. Hey, Kym. How are y'all doing?
Doing well. Hope you had a good weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, Doug, I'm seeing Doug all over the place. Pictures of you getting stuff from ECU, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's like the guy's a rock star.
Somebody's got to be.
Yeah, man. You got my vote. I vote for you. Okay. Well, this is actually going to be our last class, believe it or not. So, if you have any questions, thoughts, irritation, praise, whatever, don't hesitate to share it with me. We're going to be sending out a survey also where you can lie and tell everybody how great I am. That'll be helpful. And but today, before we kind of get into all that, we're going to look at a short video that talks about how to get ready for the holiday season for online retailers. And I think it's pretty good. It's about 30 minutes long. So we'll take a look at that and then we'll follow up after that. So hang tight and let's see here. Okay. All right, we'll make that full screen. Okay, so shoppertainment is the new buzzword you're going to be hearing a lot about, especially when you go live. The things that you can do to entertain people as well as sell products to them. I know you already have enough to do, let alone planning on singing or dancing. But anyway, let's see what they have to say.
Retail expert. Tell us how you got started and ultimately what led you to found retailminded.com.
I was so grateful as a young girl. I lived in a community North Chicago, so a town called Libertyville, and I had a mom who, like many moms, enjoyed shopping. And so with two sisters, it was a weekend pastime that we became all too familiar with. But what I really loved was getting to know our local main street. So we lived in a town called Libertyville. They had a lot of small businesses, and we would actually take road trips to other towns. And what I really fell in love with was the footprint of small businesses within these communities that brought them to life. And the curiosity began early. I was just a young girl when I remember telling my mom in the middle of a shoe department at a mall, so we were at a department store on that particular afternoon, and said, what, this looks really cool. I wonder what the business of this like. And, fast forward, one of my early careers was actually national marketing director for Franco Sarto Footwear, which is a national footwear company. And I worked with all the major retailers. So you had, at the time, Macy's, Bloomingdale's, Nordstrom's, some stores like Marshall Field's, which are no longer with us, but have turned into Macy's. So I just have a really robust history of the passion, I guess you can say, of retail, and a lot of interesting curiosity that provoked me to want to ultimately start Retail Minded.
I love that story, and I can definitely relate from a young age, but also starting my career in retail marketing as well. So, yeah,
Very
that's
cool.
fantastic. All right, let's talk about retail innovation over the course of the last year. We've seen a ton. What have we learned?
I think the one big takeaway that we've seen over the last year in retail is that innovation is only exciting if it's actually used. In other words, savvy and unique can be just that. It can be savvy and unique, but unless consumers respond to it, it's irrelevant. And so throughout the pandemic, we saw a lot of great things come to life. Some things were already in motion, but they really came to their full opportunities within the pandemic. Even text message marketing, we'll look at it from a very simple perspective. We saw text messaging being used as a way to communicate efficiency with customers and businesses. And although that existed for many years, we didn't really see it come to its forefront until the pandemic. But then you have other things like comments sold, which is, I'll probably talk about that again later today, the use of live streaming video and social selling, or payment transactions such as buy now, pay later, like we see with platforms such as Klarna. These are innovations that did exist, but throughout the pandemic, they came more to life. And I think we all have a lot to look forward to, even more so as we look ahead to 2022, which is just around the corner.
Yeah, I think that acceleration, witnessing that, has been astounding. And we've also at the same time seen shopper expectations rise more than ever before. Consumers have more choices in where they choose to shop. And, there's so much competition online now. They're even more selective in who they choose to do business with. It's a personal choice. So how can retailers best understand what their customers are really looking for and how they can meet their needs?
So I think that's a great question, Melissa. I think, again, reflecting back on the pandemic, one of the things that consumers started to realize is that they truly are in control. Historically, consumers have always been in control. After all, they decide what they purchase, and that ultimately defines the success or failure of any brand or business. But keeping that in mind, I think it became very interesting to see how consumers took control, okay? So their path to purchase was abrupted wildly during COVID. And here we are, the world has come back to life. And with that, what have we seen consumers do? Well, consumers took advantage of what they learned during COVID, and now they're applying it to their real-time experiences. And they're connecting with brands and retailers in ways that they learned during COVID, such as, for example, that social selling experience that I mentioned earlier. Comments sold is an example of that, where you can shop directly via social media from the comfort of your home. So let's say Facebook or Instagram. If you're a consumer, you can connect with a brand doing live video streaming from their store or their warehouse or just a showroom for that matter, highlighting product and inventory, making that purchase from the comfort of your home. So it's merging, it's a hybrid blend of like physical and digital, which I think is very, very cool. Another thing that we're seeing is that consumers are driving choice by transaction opportunities. So let me explain that more. A lot of companies right now are actually, or let me take that back, a lot of consumers right now are actually deciding who accepts the payment of how I want to pay. That's where I'm going to shop. I think this is genius. So, for example, the buy now, pay later platforms that are essentially installment payment companies that we see emerging across the globe, and I'll use Klarna as an example. What's happening is that consumers are following these choice of payments that they've now preferred to use. And with that, they're in a community that says, so let's say, for example, a Facebook group. A lot of these companies actually have Facebook groups, or they get email blasts that connects to the users, so the customers, that highlights businesses that welcome Klarna. And customers then decide, because you accept Klarna, I'm going to now shop with you. So payment has actually become a marketing engine. And I think that's super fascinating for small businesses and large retailers alike to take advantage of. And that's all driven by consumer preference.
It's such a fascinating thing to witness, these consumers being in control more now than ever and actually actively influencing trends in retail. So I do want to dive into a few popular retail trends that we're seeing right now. The first is sustainability. It continues to be super top of mind for consumers all around the world. So, what does it mean to you to be a sustainable company, and what role do you think that brand mission and marketing play into measuring success when you're talking about sustainability?
You know, sustainability is such a big, broad word. I think that it covers so many touch points, and both a brand and a consumer can perceive it from a lot of different perspectives. But keeping that in mind, I think it's really important for retailers in particular to consider what's important to them. Okay, so is it the product actual sourcing of materials? Is it the packaging of the product? Is it, if you have a physical storefront, is it your actually in-store best practices that support sustainable actions? So kind of considering all the different ways that you can be sustainable, a business needs to then look at what's important to my particular customer. Because if we actually look at the data, data tells us the sustainability varies across the generations. What means sustainable to one generation might mean something else to another, and likewise, the value of which it's going to influence their purchase. So at the end of the day, Melissa, you know, as business decision makers, we have to remember what will lead to transaction, what's going to drive customers to make a purchase. And if sustainability is among those drivers, then it's important for us to also take action in communicating those efforts. So for example, if you are a business that's decided we're going to only use recycled goods for our packaging materials, or we're going to limit some of our packaging options so that we have less physical material because of sustainability, it's important you communicate that to your audience, and that can actually help encourage customers to want to spend with you. Because, you know, I love this idea of trends in retail, but at the end of the day, trends are only impactful if they lead to transaction, you know, and I'm always about like, what is going to lead us to profit? How will we lead to success? So in theory, all these trends that retailers want to support have to also support you as a business.
Definitely. So I think if we're talking trends, I think we have to talk about the word hybrid. You know, that is, of course, the bridging of offline and online shopping experiences. And you mentioned this earlier in one of your responses. So this one is really buzzing across the industry right now. There's no denying that as the world starts to recover from this pandemic, hybrid shopping will be crucial. So walk us through what an ideal hybrid shopping experience looks like and why this model is so important.
Yeah, so earlier I did mention comments sold, and I'll use them again as a great hybrid example, because what it does is it essentially allows for you to blend that digital world and the physical world into this hybrid opportunity. It's informative, it's engaging, it's interactive, and the best part is that it's immediate. And from all my years in retail, the one thing I've learned both as a consumer and a thought leader, a researcher within this space, is that immediate is important. You want the transaction to happen quickly, whenever possible. You do not want a dead end. You don't want to take a detour. You don't want to have a collision that gets that customer off course. So hybrid allows for businesses to blend that virtual world into a physical world and connect with the customer. And connectivity is, for me, the most important part of hybrid. So it's allowing for an engaging experience. It's an allowing for an immediate experience. But the connectivity is what ultimately is going to lead to transaction. And again, everything ends or begins, depending on how you look at it, with transaction.
Yeah, I love that. And the connectivity serves to sort of remove the friction.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's keep exploring that, the way these trends are impacting the way that brands engage with customers. From your perspective, why is fostering engagement and building relationships more important now than ever before?
So what a great question, and kind of leading back to what I had just said about how a transaction can either end a journey or begin a new one. It's really both, and with that offers brand loyalty. So when you have a first-time customer and you capture that customer through transaction, you begin the opportunity of brand loyalty, right? And likewise, if a customer returns to your business because they've been there once before and through that experience they've decided to come again, brand loyalty is so incredibly important. And so I think that as businesses invest in the opportunities in which exist. Here we are in 2021, very close to 2022. Technology is robust. We have things such as Comet Soul that I just explained, or payment services that can explode new audiences of customers. I think that we have to think about how does that leverage brand loyalty to boost our business. And when you're building brand loyalty, you want to also consider how you can do so through community, okay? So across the generations, we all have different considerations of what community means to us. To me as a consumer, now I'm not quite mid 40s yet, but I'm somewhere, between the early 40s and the mid 40s. And with that, what is important to me is feeling a part of a community means that I need to identify with a brand. I need to know where I can go to see what's up, what's going on with that brand. Is it a Facebook group? Probably not for me, okay? But there are many people that is important to. Is it an Instagram page? Very possibly. Is it an email newsletter I signed up for? Absolutely, okay? If I've chose to elect into something as a consumer, I want to see that because we know how to unsubscribe if we don't want to be a part of that community. So you want to give community opportunities to your audience as well, and you really need to nurture them. It can't just be pushing out, you need to take in and listen to. So as we work towards that long-term loyalty, we also need to strengthen our community engagement so that consumers want to be a part of your experience. And the consumer marketing word of mouth, I think, is truly underrated. We see a lot of referral programs out there, even at like our local nail salons. But when we look at that from a bigger perspective, whether it's buying, a luxury handbag by an unknown brand though, online, right? So maybe you truly create these beautiful travel bags that currently that's something I've been Googling online. I don't want necessarily a name brand, but I do want something from a smaller brand that still feels luxury, okay? And then I dive into what does that look like among the people who have already bought from them, peer-to-peer reviews, okay? Word of mouth from people I already know. These are the people that are going to influence me more as a consumer, and so you need to nurture that as a brand as well. Make sure that your audience are truly fans of your business and that what they are saying is worth being said. Because if it's not, then you need to reconsider all the touch points of your business, of course, your actual product, the communication, and everything else that goes along with that. So a quick recap would be long-term loyalty, brand community, and your word of mouth consumer marketing.
Yeah, fantastic advice. And, definitely, I like the idea of getting back to basics sort of with that consumer marketing and word of mouth.
Yeah.
Along these same lines, there's a term that you've coined that I love, shoppertainment, which is such a fascinating concept, so relevant right now. Can you explain to our audience what all that entails and how retailers can leverage this strategy to really foster engagement and turn shoppers into those repeat customers to build brand loyalty?
Shoppertainment, it's been around forever. And I can't say I necessarily coined it so much, but I've certainly nurtured what it means and looks like because I've heard it from a lot of different angles over the years. But what I believe shoppertainment really entails is that connectivity and that engagement among consumers. And I've mentioned connectivity already once today. I really believe that is so important to connecting to customers. There I go using that word again, connecting. But when you're looking to build a shoppertainment moment, a shoppertainment experience, and more so a shoppertainment brand, it means that you are building on multiple touch points that keeps your customers wanting to stay there. I mean, you and I, whoever's listening today, Melissa, I'm sure you can agree with me here. We have moments of opportunity where we're shopping and we're totally disconnected. We detour, we get off that path to purchase. And quite simply, it's because we're not engaged, okay? We are not feeling that connectivity. But yet, on the opposite side of that, other times we feel that connectivity. We are engaged. Maybe it's because I'm scrolling social media and there's a humorous video or a meme that's branded to their particular product or company, and then I feel connected, and then I happen to go to the website and boom, I make a purchase. Other times, that path to purchase starts in different ways. But the whole idea of shoppertainment is to essentially, inform and engage. You want to make sure that your audience wants to be a part of what you have to say and what you have to share. So what you're saying and sharing will lead you to shoppertainment experiences.
You're absolutely right. When it comes to the path to purchase, there's so many different routes. It's not always linear. So from that end, what strategies and tactics do you think that retailers can implement quickly to create an engaging retail experience that's seamless across channels? What can they do?
Great question, Melissa. I mean, honestly, I'm still surprised that here we are in 2021 and many merchants are multi-channel. They are not omni-channel. So the way I like to describe it is when you are multi-channel, you literally have many, many avenues that customers can connect to your brand. When you are omni-channel, you have many, many avenues, but they're all intertwined, okay? So an omni-channel merchant is going to allow for stronger customer connectivity and all the data that is collected at those touch points, whether it's in store or online, digital, via mobile, wherever it's coming from. You as a business leader can reflect on and make more profitable, more proactive decisions based on that data. So I think that's super important when we think about the path to purchase, is to make sure that we have omni-channel efforts a part of them. So number one, I would say you absolutely must do that. The other thing I would say is to challenge yourself to think as a consumer, not as a retailer. And I think that's really important to consider because two reasons. The very first is that we are selfish as consumers, okay? Who I am at, a 40-something-year-old woman, I'm going to make a different decision than, let's say, a 20-something-year-old woman versus a 40-year-old man versus a 35-year-old teacher versus a 50-year-old industry executive. Okay, so there's a lot of scenarios out there of how consumers are influenced in their purchase, and we need to consider who other people are in these efforts that we make as business decision makers. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys, because I really do think that's a challenge sometimes to step outside your comfort zone and look to what other consumers are thinking, again, not as a retailer, but as a consumer. And so I'll go back to what we were talking about earlier, being that comment sold. Maybe you were saying to yourself, well, I'll never buy something online. That's not me. I'm more of an in-store person from that hybrid blend. Well, thousands and millions of people have already decided, I sure plan to buy online again and again and again, right? So we need to be reflective of what consumers want to do. And then that leads me to my next point, is to challenge what other generations are thinking and preferring, because as business decision makers, we have to cross sectors. And when we go, when we think forward to our brand growth and our customer loyalty, our customers are also maturing, because as years pass, that's what they do, right? But we also want to be reflective upon the new customer opportunities. So constantly consider, how are generations shopping? How can I best support them? How can I support our existing customers and welcome this new wave of consumers as well?
So much good information packed in there. I love, considering the generational differences and having strategies to support that. Also putting yourself in your customer's shoes, really, and building empathy. And that's what helps build that connectivity that you've been talking about. So we've talked a lot about, these hot trends in retail. Let's talk about what that means for holiday. It's September, it is upon us. So coming off the largest e-commerce holiday season we've ever had in 2020, what predictions do you have for this season as far as what's going to be most crucial for retailers?
Well, I can't help but immediately think of generations, because we just talked about that. And my nieces recently had a conversation. I had a conversation with them, just to give you some perspective. They're 19 and 17 years old. One's a sophomore in college, one's a senior in high school. And we were talking about the holidays and what they were looking forward to. And among the things they said was shopping with my friends. Okay. I think, again, looking back a year ago when the pandemic, we were in the middle of it, and going out necessarily socializing with friends maybe wasn't happening as much. This year, more and more people are going to do that. So I would encourage the shoppertainment momentum to happen online, in store? If you have a digital brand only, how can you merge that into physical experiences that consumers can share online maybe, right? So bring the shoppertainment to life in every capacity that you can. Make sure that your customers are excited to get engaged this holiday season. The other thing I would say is that you want to make sure that you have set up your payments so that customers of all generations and consumers can choose what preference they want to shop within your brand this holiday season. So again, Klarna, which I mentioned earlier, I'll use them as an example again, because I really believe what they're offering in terms of payment choice for customers is so important. It's no longer the traditional cash, check, credit card. This is truly an option that millions of consumers across the globe have accepted as their preferred choice. So I say, as the holidays are approaching, make sure you introduce that into your acceptance. And while I'm at that, I think the other thing too here is go ahead and look at the integrations that integrate into your platform. So for example, BigCommerce offers, so many great integrations. Look at what can integrate to help you have a more robust, more easily managed holiday season, from your shipping to your payments to your packaging to your communication to your customers to just your data in general that you're receiving and analyzing. I would highly encourage you now to do that, so when the holidays come, it's that much easier to get through them and really focus on what you guys do best, which is sell your product, source your product, push that product out from a marketing perspective, and get as many consumer eyes on it as possible. And once again, I can't stress this enough. I think I've mentioned it a couple times in so many words, that old-fashioned customer service is so important too. So what are those connection points that customers have with your brand, and how fast are you responding to them? I know as a consumer myself, I'll often go to Instagram to DM if I have an inquiry about a product, but I'm going to most likely reply to the brand and potentially purchase from the brand that responds to me faster. Because remember, that keyword earlier I said was immediate. Customers want immediate response in their shopping. So whatever that transaction destination looks like, make sure that your communication opportunities are also efficient.
Great advice there. And I want to dig in a little bit more to the shoppertainment aspect of the holidays. And of course, I think promotions are key to that as well. Such a huge part of holiday retail. So if we're going back to that hybrid retail concept, where offline and online need to work in tandem, what advice would you give to retailers who are preparing promotional plans? How can they create a strategy that's entertaining and inspiring for physical retail while still maintaining the draw to the digital arena? How can they really balance the two?
I think that, the one thing to keep in mind is that digital discovery of product can lead to digital purchase. It can also lead to in-store. And likewise, in-store inspiration from someone might lead to them scrolling online later and making a purchase. So keeping all that in mind, you want to offer incentives to your customers that I think can be broken down into two fairly simple categories: first-time customers and repeat customers. It doesn't have to get too much more complex than that, but your first-time customers have a different attraction and appeal for you to accept them for that very, very first time, right? They have not put trust in you before as a consumer, so you need to capture them from that first-time perspective. Once you have them, nurture that, and then consider different incentives for that audience. And so hopefully you guys are taking your email list that you capture along the way as well and targeting your messaging to either those first-time customers or your already established customers. It's really important that you don't just put a generic block out there to everyone, because they are different. Okay, so you need to nurture the differences that they have. Once they've become a customer, you have the chance to build a community in which they feel a part of. So consider that. I would definitely say to encourage incentives that, of course, any sort of savings, customers love that. That's not new news to you guys, but consider the margins on your products so that you can actually support savings in your promotional marketing, right? So that consumers are getting a savings, but from your margin perspective, you're not feeling as if you've been shortchanged too much. So as you're sourcing your inventory, also consider how you can plan ahead into this promotional marketing that the holidays really do demand.
Definitely. So I think too, a big part of that, is surprising and delighting customers. Consumers expect, especially during the holiday season, to be surprised and delighted by their favorite brands. So promotions aside, what are some of the other ways that retailers can bring joy to the shopping experience and really delight their customers?
So, earlier we were talking about sustainability as something that customers feel attached to. But that is not the only thing customers feel attached to. There are so many great causes, charities, local organizations, things that bring sentiment to the hearts of customers. And so the holidays are really the perfect time to do that. Look to the sentiment of what your own brand or business cares about, and then align with that this holiday season so that you can use that within your marketing efforts and your communication efforts so that customers want to be a part of that as well. So for example, I'll use my own son as an example, actually. He has alopecia. It means he lost all his hair. He was 3 years old when that happened. He's happy. He's healthy. He's perfect in every other way. In fact, he's perfect in that way too. But I know my small business donates every year to the alopecia community because that's important to my small business. And over the years, a lot of my audience has become familiar with that through my messaging. So you need to decide what's important to you. Is it something that has hit your own heart and you want to share the sentiment of why and then push that towards your own marketing? Or is it more of a national message that you want to support? So whether it's, let's say, children's cancer, everybody, of course, has sentiment for, of course, cancer in general, but children with cancer, or whatever it might be, there is no right or wrong here. The catch is you need to find the sentiment and the communication to share with your audience so you can leverage that. So those would be cause purposed, but you also want to consider community purpose. So if you would rather give back to your local community, maybe there was a local tornado, maybe there was another hardship that impacted your home state of which you operate your business from. Maybe there is a organization within your hometown that you want to help boost. These are all fantastic places to consider, but that's what you have to do. You have to consider, and then you hopefully will actually create a strategic partnership with that same organization or community so you can ask for their exposure of your brand and business to their audience so you can gain some marketing from that, and then likewise you're going to push it out to yours. So that's always great during the holidays, is to just partner with a charity or a cause, some sort of purpose. It could just be a percentage of sales. It could be a certain item that donates a percentage to that particular organization. But this is definitely your time right now to get creative and think about what you want to do, what sentiment that means. The other thing I would say is that festive experiences are a lot of fun during this time of year, and you can sometimes do that with charities. But the other thing you can do is actually look to what's already happening within your community and nationally. So for example, the Saturday that follows Thanksgiving every year for the past 12 years is known as Small Business Saturday. And they offer free resources at shopsmall.com that online as well as in store, so physical brick and mortar businesses can leverage and download for free to use within their own promotional marketing efforts. That's a great opportunity for you to just boost visibility of your brand, but also boost why it's important to support small businesses. So look to what's around you that already exists and then become a part of that as well. And I would also encourage you all to create a calendar during the holidays because you get busy. So individually you get busy, but as a brand and a business, you definitely get busy. So make sure you put your target goals on there. Like maybe you have a certain email blast that you want to go out every single Tuesday at noon Eastern, or possibly it's making sure that you have a certain amount of festive events that you're already identifying and you hit your marketing goals for to help promote it. Because we do get lost in the shuffle during the holiday. So really, truly right now is your time to start making these strategic decisions so that you have the opportunity to have a very profitable season.
Fantastic. You've offered so many amazing pieces of advice today, super helpful strategies, tactics, ideas all around. So, if our audience were to leave with one or two key takeaways, what would those be?
So many, I don't even know where to start. But I think that, the first thing I would say is that sometimes patience actually does lead to profit. So as you are making these plans and introducing and integrating great technologies into your business, be patient with the results of which they'll deliver on. Because tomorrow you might welcome, let's say, some new integrations into your BigCommerce platform and get very excited to roll these out. It won't happen overnight, but it will happen if you are consistent. So be patient to lead to your profit, but make sure you have consistency along the way there. And the other thing, as much as I love this old-fashioned customer service and the sentiment of customer care and connectivity and communication, the one thing I will say is that never ignore data. So never ignore data, because data is going to reveal things that the human touch point, the human eyes, we simply can't by ourselves. Retail is a very, very busy place to be. And so welcome that data from all those integrations and all the different touch points that your brand is. The path to purchase can be very complex, but data can reveal so much of it. And if you actually welcome the data, you have the opportunity to be more proactive on that data and again, lead to profit. Because at the end of the day, it really is about the transactions and ultimately the success of your business.
The data does not lie.
No, it doesn't.
So true. All right. Well, I, for one, am very excited about the holiday season and can't wait to see how it pans out. So, for our listeners who might want to keep up with you, connect with you after this, and learn more, where can they find you?
I am always available at retailminded.com, and I'm pretty active on Twitter at retailminded is the handle, and then Instagram at retailmindedworld. So I would love to hear from anybody and everybody.
Wonderful. It was so great speaking with you today and learning from you, Nicole. Thank you for joining us. And for those tuning in, be sure to check out more Make It Big sessions. Share what you've learned on social.
Okay. I figure the rest of it's just going to be how great she is, so we'll pass on that. The couple of takeaways from this about getting prepared for the holidays. I don't know if you all are familiar with the buy now, pay later systems, those services that are out there. She mentioned one called Klarna, Klarna. There's also Affirm, Afterpay. There's a whole bunch of them. PayPal has one. These are all services that allow the consumer to buy an item and then pay for it relatively soon thereafter, and usually in 4 equal payments, and there's no interest to the consumer. So they're very, very popular, particularly in higher priced items. So I encourage all of you to take a look at that and see if that's something that you can add to your category, to your website going into the holiday season. I think the other thing that she mentioned that caught my eye, and this video, of course, will be available and you can watch it again, but she talks a lot about connecting with other causes, whether it's somebody in your local community who's running some kind of promotion or event, or a charity that you like, a cause like she mentioned, childhood cancer and other things. Those are great partnerships that you can make, and it shouldn't cost you any money up front. And hopefully you can access the traffic that organization has and let them find out about you. So I think that's a really good thing to check out too. Any thoughts or comments from anybody on this? Okay. Well, I'm going to share this other thing I've been talking to some of you about. So let me just get that up and do my share again. we'll share that, and hopefully everyone can see this. This is an event, Shop Rural Day, that we're promoting. I encourage all of you to sign up, no cost to sign up. It's going to be a 1 day at this time, although I predict it will go beyond 1 day, but either a 12 or 24-hour period where we're going to promote rural North Carolina businesses to sell using the Pop Shop Live platform. And we're going to be providing how-to guides, all kinds of information, Zoom meetings to talk about how this works and make sure you're comfortable with it. The biggest thing that we're doing, I think, from my perspective, is that the sponsors we are getting are all fairly significant organizations that I'm hoping will drive a lot of awareness and traffic to this event. I have to thank Ruth Taylor for helping us with North Carolina Specialty Foods. We also have Got to Be NC. We just got Visit NC Farms, which is another program you might be familiar with. It looks like we're going to get a bunch of folks from Western North Carolina as well. So we've got a good number of people that are going to be promoting this to their customers. The program doesn't cost you anything to sign up. There is a 9% commission when you sell something on Pop Shop Live, but they pay for the shipping. So if you sell a product through there and you want to use the Pop Shop Live system, you will not have to pay the shipping. They will pay it for you, and you'll get your money for your sale as soon as your label that they send you is scanned at the post office, and that releases the funds to your account. So I think it's a pretty easy to deal with process, and I do encourage everybody to sign up for that, apply for that. Basically, there's all kinds of apply stuff here on this page, shopruralday.org. This is the little Pop Shop Live sign up process. You shouldn't have any problem with it. So any questions about that or thoughts about that?
Hey,
Yeah,
Dennis.
I've got a question on that.
Go ahead, Ruth, is that you?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm out doing deliveries. I'm driving. I'm sorry. But
No
I do have a question on that. So I think I applied, and how do you know, I think I got a confirmation back, but I'm not sure. Is there a way that we can check to see if we're quote on the list?
I'm working on that. And I will tell you one thing, all of you are in. So you don't have to worry. As long as you fill that information out, there are going to be hundreds and hundreds of applicants from around the state. We're seeing that already. But everyone in Accelerate Rural is automatically in if you want to be. So don't sweat that. But I will get you.
Right.
There's some kind of process we got to set up where it notifies you. And, it's just something we haven't figured out yet, but we will.
All right. That's great. Thanks so much.
Yeah. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to provide a little guide that will show you what you have to do to go live, step by step, what equipment you need, which is basically just your mobile phone. There's not a lot to it. But there are a few little things that we're going to suggest, and that's going to be like a guide that we're going to have where you can download it and print it out and use it. And then we also have help from Pop Shop Live. They have a team of people who are going to assist our merchants in this project. This is a big project for them as well. So they're going to work really hard to make sure you're comfortable with what you're doing. The other thing that I'm working on, and I don't know if I'll be able to pull it off, but we're also working on providing entertainment that day. I'm talking to the Abbott brothers. I'm talking to the Chocolate Drops, and there may be others that you could suggest. I'd like to find North Carolina musicians or artists who are willing to be here and perform as part of this. I'm also hoping to get some artists and maybe some craft people that might give little 15-minute talks about what they're doing and why and kind of the work they're doing. So it's going to be kind of an entertainment. It's going to be a shoppertainment day. It's not just going to be just live selling, although that's the idea behind it. We're also going to do other stuff to try to drive as much traffic as we can.
I've got a question about,
Go ahead, Doug.
since I don't have a product, will I be able to do pre-sales that way?
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah, you might be in a situation where you're basically just getting prospects, right? Getting their name and email
Right.
on to, each person is going to have their own little show. It's totally separate. So it's not sequential. It's not curated. You're just going to pick the times that you're going to go live. There might be 10 other people live at that same time, or there might be nobody. You can go live the whole time, as far as I'm concerned. So the idea is really to communicate what it is you're doing to the best of your ability, and whatever it is you have, whether it's a pre-sale or it's, ask people to give you their email address so you can send them information. Whatever the fulfillment is, that's up to you. Branson, did you have something?
Oh, I would love to be part of the entertainment. I mean,
Damn right. I'm counting on you, boy.
hey, I'm here.
I just haven't got all. I'm doing this whole thing myself, so it's a little bit discombobulated, but we're getting there. The idea is only about 5 days old at this point, so we've covered a lot of ground. We're getting a lot of interest from major institutions around the state who think this is a good idea, and I'm counting on them to drive a crowd. And I think we'll get a lot of media attention for this, because this has been a really big deal in China. They call it 11/11 Day or Singles Day. It does 10 times the business of Black Friday in China, and has 250,000 merchants live on the same day. So they actually go more than one day, and we probably will also. I don't want to make that promise yet until we kind of see what we got, but I don't see any reason why we can't keep this going throughout the holiday season if we can develop the traffic. I don't see any reason not to. Okay, Elena, did you have something?
Yes, I mean, when you do this type of I had not done it before, this type of selling, do they connect to your website, or how does that part work? I don't understand it really.
Yeah, it's no big deal. I'll explain it to you. The key to it, if you have Shopify, yes, they can integrate with your back end. If you don't have Shopify, it's okay. It's gonna go through on PopShop Live's system as far as the payment goes. But you'll get in the email, you'll get a label with a packing list of what it is you're supposed to ship to that buyer, and PopShop Live pays for that shipping. So you use that label when that gets scanned, they release the money to your account and you'll get paid. So all of this kind of technical stuff will be addressed, but it's not a big deal.
Okay, but then do they have? I mean, how do they get to see all your products? Do they do it live? Do you do it like I did it with Pitt Community College, and what they did was that it was like live in your store. But I mean, you understand? I mean,
what happens is you will upload up to 10 of your products into the system.
okay.
So that's what people will be buying, is from that list. Okay. And you can add others to it during the live show. You can, if somebody says, "Hey, what's that behind you?" and you can reach over there and add that. But that's how it works. The idea is they don't have to leave your show to buy the product. That's the key.
Okay.
There's no losing them in a handoff.
I got it.
You're going to sell them right on the spot.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. And if you guys know other merchants that you think would benefit, please don't hesitate to send them to shopearlday.org and to sign up. We're not going to accept everybody, but we are going to accept as many as we can. I don't want to have a whole bunch of people competing, for each of you. So I will tend to keep your competitors out. but beyond that, if we're looking at 50,000 people coming to the site that day, and we have the capacity to do a lot of business.
Dennis, I have two more questions if I could.
Yes, please.
Yeah. So one is, what is the cutoff date that you want people to apply? And it's probably on the website and I'm just not seeing it.
I don't have one, frankly, at this point. I want to see what happens. If you know, it looks like it's kind of slow, I may end up putting you must apply by such and such a date, but I haven't done that yet.
Okay, perfect. The second thing is then when they pay you to ship it, then how do you, like, you know, depending on how much product that I would sell, I would use a size A box or a size B box. And so do you, and when you set this up with Shopify, then would you specify what size boxes you would need so that they would know how to
Great question, and I don't know the answer, except I know that they have the answer. I just don't know what it is.
okay, well, that's fair. Yeah, I know I'm in the weeds. So
Yeah,
thank
we'll
you.
we'll get they deal with this all the time. Like one of our companies who you know, which is Harris Robinette Beef, they actually go live almost every single day and have been selling a ton of grass-fed beef. Their lowest price item that they sell is $100. And they're shipping to Alaska, Hawaii, all over the place. So in their case, they opted out of the Pop Shop Live system, and they're just using their regular system. And what they've done is they built in the cost of shipping into their pricing on the site. So it still looks like free shipping to the consumer, but they are, because they have to use ice packs and you know, different things, they're not using the Pop Shop Live system. So there's lots of different ways that this works. I just haven't addressed it yet, but I will.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. Anyone else have any questions? Okay, the other thing is I'll encourage all of you who want to, please sign up for the Accelerate Rural again, if you like. Love to have you. It will be different. Mostly a lot of similarities, but it will be different because each cohort has kind of a different mix of businesses. So we tend to change our content to reflect that. So I do welcome everyone to do that. That class starts October 11th. So that's one thing on the agenda. And the other thing is, please stay connected with us. You know, please continue to use the Facebook page. You know, I consider us all in this together. It's a community. It's not really a class in my view. So please feel free to stay connected, to reach out to me, to ask questions. If you need help meeting someone or connecting, I'm happy to do that anytime. So don't be bound by the stop-start date of the cohort. We intend to stay connected as long as you want to. So that's all I have for today. If there's anything else anyone has, speak now. Elena?
No, I want to thank you for all the information. It has been wonderful, and you know, I'll be in touch with you. And I think everyone that has been in this class has been, I think, happy with all the information as I am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. I'm glad I can help. Branson, you want something to say?
No, I want to thank you. I've learned more than I learned the first time, so thank you. I wanted to say the same thing. So,
Oh, good.
and
You're welcome.
can't wait from 11/11.
Yeah,
So.
good. Well, I think that we're going to be able to really grow these opportunities for all of you. So stick tight. We're going to figure it out, and we're going to show them that Amazon does not have a chance against you all. So, all right. That's all I got.
Did you say this was our last class, Dennis?
One more time.
Did you say this is our last class?
Yes, this is the last class. Yep.
Oh, mercy. Well, thank you so much. I have learned so much, and I just appreciate everything. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It's been a pleasure to meet you, Ruth, and thank you for your help with the Food Association. I think that's going to work out really well.
And I want to sign up for October 10th, if I may. Thank you.
Yes. Okay. See you all.
Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, Dennis.
You're welcome.